Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge, and I have a number of things I want to talk about with Buddyfight. But first, let's talk about some Ancient World boys. So the new Ancient World attribute that is going to be in BTO4 is we've gotten their main cards, a bunch of their main cards, a big resource card for it as a card of the day earlier, and I think this is enough to get a general first impression. Talk about the deck, what direction it might be going in, all that sort of stuff. So, let's start with the big boy boss monster. We have Primordial, Giant Dragon, Big Bang Dragon. A note. So there are three different translations going around for the attribute. We have Primordial for Buddy Spoiler. On the wiki, you have Primitive, and you have Origin on Freedom Duo. Now, I know the primitive from the wiki comes from the kanji used in the attribute name is actually the same kanji that's used in primitive power Zerberos's name. But I'm having spoilers stick with Primordial for now because, well, look at this thing's name, Big Bang Dragon. I just think Primordial is a better fit. It could very well be primitive. I'm extremely doubtful it'll go with Freedom Duo's translation of Origin. Because Primordial makes sense with the naming conventions of the cards in the attribute, particularly Big Bang Dragon. And Primitive makes sense with the previous patterns in Bushwood's translation of these kanji. So those are the two I expect. I'm sticking with Primordial. One, because Big Bang Dragon, and two, because it sounds cool. Primordial just sounds really cool. I want and also because like big memes about dubisms. But Primordial also just sounds really cool. I don't know. It just sounds fucking cool, and I want it to be Primordial. Okay, let's talk. Okay, so Primordial Giant Dragon, Big Bang Dragon is a big boy. He's a size 3, 20k power, 4 crit, 10k defense, but that's because he doesn't have any multi-attack. He has Penetrate, Soul Guard, and Lifelink Lose. My favorite keyword. And tragically, he actually, his anti-nullify ability prevents you from nullifying his abilities with your own cards. So you can't Dragon's Blessing away his lifelink, you can't Amaray away his lifelink, you can't, whatever the fuck that DCE set was called, you can't do that either. None of those work. No. He also prevents you from calling other Primordial Dragons, which means you're not using Lost with this, guys. You're not playing Lost with this. If this is a good deck, then that would be really, really good for it as like an approachable budget deck type, because it'll be a non-lost deck. It'll probably have like one triple rare, a couple double rares, so it'll be super, super cheap to get. If it's good. If it's good. That's a big if right now. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, as a really big if. It needs a lot of things to go right, but possibly. Okay, so next thing to talk about. Its soul cannot be dropped by your opponent's card effects. So this is a big one. The reason this is big is because Big Bang Dragon only gets one soul naturally. Now, if we go over to Hikaru real quick, which does some drop a hand card, check top 5, put the 2 Primordial Dragon cards into your hand, and put the rest into your gauge. Now, the important thing about this card is that it's a spell for the attribute, but does not have the attribute itself. And this very rarely happens nowadays in Buddyfight. Like, I can't remember the last attribute this happened in. I think it was Matt? Yeah, I think Matt was the last time this happened. Matt is the last one that I remember. No, Blade Dancers. Yeah, it happened with Blade Dancers. Because it didn't want you salvaging everything. So basically, what this tells us is we're probably getting... So spells won't have the Primordial Dragon attribute, which means... so like, if we just go with this guy and the 2 size zeros and maybe an item, that's only 4 targets. That's not a very good amount, and this is a double rare. So I expect we're actually getting a lot more monsters. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that we're probably getting stuff like what Dragon Blood Sect got. Let's pull up some Dragon Blood Sect right now. Now, what I mean, of course, is I mean stuff like this. Like this size 2 boy, and the $30 box topper boy, and stuff like that. Stuff like this. Stuff like this. Basically, I'm expecting them to get cards that shove themselves into Soul. Preferably as a cantrip. And provide bonus effects while in Soul. This would help cover a lot of the weaknesses that are currently plaguing the deck. Like you can shut down the entire deck with a Rest of Field, which is like a Narcolepsy, or Flame Gale or whatever, Lord Break, whatever it's called. You can shut them down very easily with those cards. Because it doesn't have any anti-rest, and then this guy just dies to like a double bounce or a double vanity or a double Zeus. Like it does way too easily. And when you're giving it lifelink lose and you can't even nullify its own lifelink lose, I don't think that's the intention. So when I see souls can't be dropped on a card that only gets one top soul, I'm going, okay, this archetype is almost definitely getting a bunch of soul-in monsters that can buff their effects. And if you have a size 0 Primordial Dragon on your field, this card cannot be destroyed. Your opponent has to go through them, which is cool, because these guys, they come in with 3 soul. They come in with 3 soul and triple attack. These size zeros are pretty big boys. So they're both basically very similar, but right hand here, low rarity, rare. He can only be called if you have a Big Bang Dragon, and can only be called to the right. He gets the top 3 cards of your deck into its soul. When it attacks, you deal 1. And it's triple attack and soul guard. Now it's 1k defense, so it's very easy for your opponent to beat over, but the fact remains your opponent has to go through it 4 times. Now, as it is right now, they're very vulnerable to removal. Like, tons of immunities can just hit through these. Tons of removal can just hit through these. I'm saying they don't have immunities. But if we get a bunch of soul-in stuff, okay, so now we have these things that are like, hey, I'm called, if any of the top 3 cards of your deck are soul-in things, I get those bonuses right away. So that's a thing. And then when it attacks, it deals 1 damage. Like, the offensive potential of the formation we're seeing here with right hand, left hand, and Big Bang is pretty spooky. This guy here is also triple attack, soul guard, can only be called to the left. When it attacks, destroy a card on your opponent's field. So, like, full formation, not getting disrupted by rests, is like 4 crit penetrate, 2 crit penetrate that deals 1 on each attack, and 2 crit triple attack that deals the damage on each attack, and 2 crit triple attack that destroys a card on each attack. So lots of clear, and yeah, then we got this. We already talked about this a bit. So yeah, I'm expecting a bunch of soul-in cards. I'm also expecting a double searcher, because like this boy Big Bang Dragon is literally nothing without the size 0. So I kind of expect there to be like a double searcher like Matt got, like Cross got, like Sync got, and that's like, okay, get a Big Bang and also get like a size 0 Duder. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting, because like, I don't know. There's potential here. It's spooky because lifelink lose is like, and not a bunch of inherent immunities, but like if they just give them a lot of monsters that soul in and give immunities, then it's like, oh, okay, so not a problem, and these can just become behemoths. So yeah, I'm excited for this deck, especially if it turns out good, because hey, more non-lost budget decks is definitely good for the game. Definitely something that is desirable. So yeah, that's it for today. This is almost 10 minutes. Okay, this is Hunter Surge, signing off.